before I really get into this, I want to remind you that we're using a code name for him.
Okay.
But listeners of episode 28.
Yeah, we had to bleep out his real name a couple times in that episode, I remember.
So let's not have to do that again. Right. I don't want to give extra work to you. But yeah, it was called C-Spot Spiral, that episode, and it was basically about the deterioration of a friend and his slip into drug use. Not cool drugs, like dangerous drugs.
Yeah.
Was that enough of a recap?
Math. Sure, yeah. And he went nuts, and he all of a sudden went nuts, and he was homeless, and he was banned from the building.
A fairly good friend, though, prior to that.
Yeah.
A roommate of my best friend, and just some guy I hung out with probably 3 or 4 nights out of the week. So he went off the deep end. He got caught up shooting... he got caught shooting up in my best friend's pool and got trespassed from the building. Anyway, just to catch everybody up, he has AIDS now. Or at least HIV. Is it the same thing?
No, not
Why
yet.
isn't Magic Johnson dead?
Because he doesn't have AIDS. He's got HIV.
Oh,
you keep that shit in check. If you're like Magic Johnson, you've got enough money to keep it in check.
Okay. I didn't know that if you had money, AIDS wasn't a problem.
Yeah, you can afford all that AZT.
Okay, all right. But he called... Well, we can say her name. She was a guest on that episode. Margaret is my best friend. And so after a couple of months, I guess it was, without knowing what was going on with him, she got a call from him from the hospital, and he told her that he had HIV. It was confirmed. Positive, I think, is the term. And...
Oh, man, I remember this great joke. How do you spell HIV?
How?
No, answer the question.
HIV.
Are you positive?
I think people would ask the same thing I asked, though.
No, it seemed to work once or twice. So maybe it's like spell HIV.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Hey, spell ICUP.
ICUP? That's a good one.
Yeah, so he called her, but... her defense was like, because he went batshit crazy, but now all of a sudden he kind of sounded like himself, and he left her a couple of voicemails, so she played those for me. I wish we had them for the show. Maybe we can get them posted right there at the end. But he did kind of sound like himself, but at the same time, he did get caught shooting up in that pool, the community pool, and has been caught several times trying to break back into that building. Like, he's not all there. But he made it clear like he was getting some kind of funded housing because he was legitimately homeless. But at this point, like, the hospital is helping him find a temporary place to live, and it sounded like he was going to get back on his feet again. But none of us had seen him. She just had these brief phone conversations with him. So this happens, and
Does this scare you into thinking, like, if you get evicted from your apartment, like, if just something happens where you can't live with your roommate anymore, and let's say you get fired at the same time, like, can you see yourself having AIDS 2 months later? You know what I mean? Like, it still takes something else to, like, start shooting up drugs.
It does, but...
I could see you taking that path.
Could you? No, Spot was never a beer and pot kind of guy. If that was his drug of choice, then, you know, and he was homeless, I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
But as of right now, like, he'd made reference to drugs he'd done in the past. Like, I'd never witnessed any of that because he was such a prude in the time that I knew him. So that's why it was so shocking for me, but not because he didn't allude to problems he'd already had. So it's not entirely unexpected. I wasn't prepared for it. Now I don't care. But so that was, I don't know, a month ago. We thought maybe he's shaping his life back up again. And we hadn't seen him, like I said. Then Margaret goes on vacation last week and asked me to house sit for her, cat sit for her, which I do each and every time she goes, which is a pretty sweet gig for me. Because you were there the last time we recorded. You came over as I was house sitting, and didn't you say it was basically like being at a hotel?
Oh yeah, it was the
minus
exact
the cable.
same thing.
And please, Margaret, if you're listening, work on that.
I had just been at a hotel, and it seriously was like that relaxing.
Yeah. There was a bed for you. It was great. So I have fun with that. Her cat is fucking terrified of me. I can. She was gone for 6 days. I saw the cat maybe twice.
I was there for 12 hours. I didn't see the cat for the first 9.
Little side story. I've cat sat for her probably a dozen to 16 times in the 2 years we've been friends. And her cat, cats are the most boring animal ever, and her cat proves it. Dogs, I get it. Like, oh, they're going to lick your face, and they're going to, be obnoxious. Cats, on the other hand, are just pretty boring animals, I feel. I'm not a pet person anyway. I don't know if you could tell. But her cat especially, doesn't do anything. It just hides under beds all the time. So, the first 12 times that I house sat for her, at some point during the week, I'm convinced that I somehow lost the cat because it's hiding so well from me. And
I really thought it wasn't there when I was there. For the first 2/3 of the time I was there, I was convinced. I was like, "Are you sure it didn't go out on the balcony or something like that?" Because I never saw it.
Yeah, and it doesn't do things like that. It's not a cat to just dart out the door. But yeah, I'm always convinced, because I can't find her, and it's about. I mean, Margaret's place isn't huge, like you said, a hotel, king size bed though, and yeah. So I'll do crazy obnoxious things like I'll check the stove, or open up the oven.
Looking for the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey cat.
Joey. So I'm cat sitting for her last week while she's on vacation, and. Oh, yeah, I decided I'm going to get breakfast at McDonald's because I woke up in time and it was a Saturday. And so I come downstairs from her building and I step out and there's a bench for a bus stop, directly in front of the front door. And there's a guy with his... I watch him do the whole thing. He pulls his pants down, and he's wearing, the Adidas swishy pants. I can't see who he is at this point because he's facing the street. So I've got the ass side of him, and he pulls his pants down, and his bare ass is hanging out, and shit is already dribbling from the ass at the point that he does this. And he's got a wad of Subway napkins in his hand, and is shitting on
in
on
fairness
the bench.
To him, it sounds like he can't make it another step. He was lucky to run into Subway and grab those napkins. You know what I mean? He couldn't go one step further.
I disagree. He did that intentionally. He's been trespassed from this very building he's shitting in front of.
And it's already dribbling.
That's something, and I mean, obviously it was Spot that we're talking about, but I didn't know that at the time. So, when I saw this happening, I haven't seen anybody shit on a bus bench before, but I saw somebody take a piss, sit down and fully piss between the gratings of the bench. So I was horrified. I was just because I saw the shit and then he was disposing of napkins, just throwing them right there on the street. See, I see it more as a fuck you to the building, because this is the building he's been trespassed from. He can, even if you feel it coming, run to the alley and take your shit.
Yeah, sometimes you can't go another step, man. I've missed my toilet by 4 feet before.
Really?
Yeah,
that's quite the cleanup.
Yeah.
I'm one to talk. But I didn't know it was him at first, so I'm just seeing this, and I'm like, oh, this is so disgusting. And then so I walk a block away towards the McDonald's, and then I realized I'd forgotten my phone, so I go back. But I go through the other side of the street to get back into the building, so I don't have to deal with that guy. And I actually take the time, and of course, while I'm upstairs, I post a tweet about this guy, still not knowing who it is.
Yeah,
and
that's twitter.com/pbhood.
No. Quit pimping.
That's not it?
No. Close. Twitter.com/planbrohood. And so I found my phone. I went back downstairs. Went back out the same way I saw him the first time because I'd already forgotten about it. I posted my tweet. I felt, good about it. And then there he is. The same guy's out there. He turns around with a cigarette in his mouth, and it's fucking Spot, and I couldn't believe it. And I know that he saw me. We made eye contact.
Yeah, and you definitely know that was the guy shitting on the bench. He was still wearing Adidas pants.
Same outfit, same guy.
You didn't notice
shit.
That the guy taking the shit was a redhead or something? Because why would you stay around the time of the scene of the crime, for several minutes afterwards? You had time to go to McDonald's and come back.
No, I didn't. I barely left to get my phone.
Yeah.
Right. But so it was maybe a 5-minute time span. But still, it was him. It was him that did it. And then I know it was him. It was kind of confirmed because then I did go to McDonald's and I swung by my own place. So I was gone for about 2 hours, and then I came back to the building again, went upstairs, and there was a note slid under Margaret's door from another resident in the building saying, Spot has been spotted again, and he's asking for people's phone numbers. Please don't give him mine.
Wow.
Yeah, like, who does that? Like, he's
That guy
so
needs to
out of his
find
gourd,
a new
man.
haunt. He needs to go somewhere else. There's other places you can go. You can be one of those weird guys in the park, like hang out by the water. It's going to be summertime.
Yeah.
Don't be there in the hustle and bustle with. But I mean, I guess if you're on crack and stuff like that, you want to be there because that area of Seattle. Not that Margaret doesn't live in a great place and an enviable part of town, but there are some streets right around there where it is just drug addicts just littering. So I guess if that's your thing, that's where you got to be doing it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But why not pick it up and then go take a walk down to the water and enjoy it there?
Yeah.
Lay on some grass.
I don't know if I told you this story, but also Spot, like, maybe a month and a half ago, pictures started showing up in the building, like, watch out for this guy. He's been trespassed. Call the police immediately. Because he had been spotted in the building, and they have, like, this, like, community room. And apparently he'd gone in there and pretty much spent the night, and they have a fridge in there. And somebody that was having a party in that community room the next day, like, had all their food prepared, and he ate the shit out of it and took it with him. God, the balls on that guy.
Score.
Yeah,
that's a good score for a Spot.
I didn't know they kept food in that fridge.
Why would
I'd
you
be
keep
stealing
going
from there.
to this place where, like, you know the heat is on? But then again, there's like no one's catching him.
His
Come
whole
on.
life was in that building.
Go burgle Margaret's building. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world to get into. Apparently, how does this one guy keep getting in there?
Well, I have a key that I'm not supposed to duplicate, but anybody that emails us, it's a pretty sweet place.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd keep the listeners updated on what was going on there. Potential improvement, turns out not so much. But at least nobody listening actually had to see it. Like, and I'm the only of our group of friends that knew him pretty well that has seen him since this happened. Margaret's gotten phone calls, but I actually had to watch him shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole other thing. So I called her, of course, immediately, and I was like, no matter what you think now, just know that this happened and that he's not to be trusted. Because apparently you're defending him. If you were, if this was taken to court, you're like, Your Honor, sometimes you just got to take a shit.
No. I'm just saying that while being right in front of the building does seem like a little too perfect a timing, like sometimes you cannot take another step. Like if he happened to be walking just right in front of that building, and I'm sure if he meant to do it, he would fully admit to wanting to do it. But if you were just happen to be walking right there and you're like, oh my God, I got to take a shit, run into Subway, maybe they turn you down, don't let you use their bathroom because the Subway's right there, so I'm sure they know to steer clear of them. So grab a handful of napkins, go as far as you can go. There's a bench. I'm just going to shit on that. Thank God I had time to grab the napkins.
Your objection overruled.
Well, we'd have to ask him. If you weren't such a puss, we could get him on the show and wear rubber gloves and gas masks. This is a real question.
He has almost AIDS. Be careful.
Can you get HIV past you through shit? That's a real question because someone told me once that it was brown because of blood.
Wait, our shit is brown or HIV shit is brown?
That your shit is brown because that's blood in there. But then my defense was, how can you see blood in your stool then?
Yeah, I suppose that is a good defense. Yeah, you do make a good lawyer, dude.
But no, but yeah, I think the conversation I was having with that person was whether or not. Yeah, it was. You know what? It was Chris, who I used to work with, and this was, I swear to God, the argument. If you ate a person's shit that had AIDS, could you catch it? And his thing was that yes, because it's brown because there's blood in it. And I said, I don't think that's true. I think it's just because it's sludge and shit like that.
Whether that's true or not, I'm still guessing you could get AIDS from eating somebody's shit if they had AIDS. Don't you think?
This is lowbrow conversation.
I thought you were going to say comedy, in which case you were wrong. But yeah, you're right. But that's, I mean,
it's interesting.
I'm actually curious now.
Can we Google it? If you don't mind, I'll Google it.
Why don't you ask Jeeves? Jeeves? We are Googling AIDS shit. Yeah, you're right. This isn't us, PJ. I feel gross.
I wanted to class it up a little. I Googled, can you get AIDS from fecal matter? Can one get the AIDS virus or other STDs from a drinking fountain? Fecal matter.
You should write something like, still staying classy, consumption of fecal matter. You didn't say anything about eating it. Because right now you're probably just looking at things that could, can I identify it from my stool?
So consumption of fecal matter, can that cause AIDS?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, Cleveland Steamer, I got the clappy. I can't believe we're looking this up.
God, I don't feel like I'm phrasing it right. Can consumption of fecal matter cause AIDS? But you can't make it clear that consumption of the fecal matter of someone with AIDS. Like, I guess I can, but then it just seems like it's... Here's a list of fluids that the virus is not found in. Tears, urine, sweat, fecal matter, unless blood is present, and saliva. Exactly my point, that you can still see the blood in the stool.
Okay. I want a second opinion. I actually know the website, though.
Okay.
Drinkingfromthesamecup.com.
That's not a website. You're an idiot. I thought there's cake farts is real.
Cake farts?
I don't know. Whatever they were talking about on Never Not Funny, like fartcake.com.
We got to stop
Chris
referencing
Hardwick
them.
was talking about
We're such
that.
a fanboy podcast.
Twitter.com/Nerdist was talking about it.
You're such a disease.
When people like the Jonas Brothers are younger than me and millionaires, that doesn't bother me as much because tweens are idiots. But to know that Seth Rogen and, like, say, that whole crew.
Yeah, but... Yeah, I know. It's weird. There's a guy at work that always says that, like, Seth Rogen's younger than me. I think Seth Rogen's, like, my age. I might be a little younger than him.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I have time.
It's depressing to me to know that I'm almost 30 and have no money to my name.
I remember once we were both living here in Yakima, and you said something once, I think it was about not having an education and never really having a real job or something like that.
Sounds like me.
And you're like, I guess I just figure that one day I'll write a book or something that gets me a lot of money. Like, that's it. Like, that's like the only realistic way, as unrealistic as it may be,
Right.
that I'll ever become rich. It's either that or hitting a lotto ticket.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to think I'm creative enough to where writing a book is more likely.
What's your book idea, though?
No, I don't have any.
Yeah, me neither. We've tossed around the idea of writing a script. I heard you had a dream about a script I never wrote.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about it right before I was drifting off to sleep. That one you want to
So you were like in that
it.
weird half sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And you've written basically a scene of a Jehovah's Witness kid sitting in the library without during a Halloween party or something like that.
Yeah. Here was my vision. I don't know how much appeal this has except for to ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, but I've never seen a movie that's really tackled the subject.
Yeah.
And us growing up as Jehovah's Witnesses and now having the beliefs that we do, which are none, like, I thought that'd be interesting. Like, people always, because when people find out that I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, like when that comes up, people are fascinated and they have lots of questions. So write one movie that answers them all.
Yeah.
Why don't you celebrate holidays? Blah, blah, blah. So that was the key scene, the opening scene as I saw it was a kid at school on the day of Halloween or the week of Halloween, and we're not allowed to go to those parties, and so he gets, rather than mom having this sense to say, just stay home from school today, we instead get shuffled off to the office. Not the principal's office. We weren't in trouble. We just couldn't be there for the party.
Right.
And so they'd, like, pull out coloring books, and it was just you and the secretary, and she's, like, is that what you call them, secretaries at schools?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, and she's... at least in the scene, in my eventual movie, she'll be kind of overweight, middle-aged, and just trying to have the scene as I wrote it was that she was doing a crossword puzzle and asking some 9-year-old who's been excluded from a party, knowing that he doesn't know, and then boom, you're right into my life, right?
Yeah.
I'd watch that shit.
Yeah, I guess the way I was imagining it as I was drifting off to sleep was that he was really jealous, like there was a lot of anger on his face. Maybe the teacher sneaks him a piece of candy, and then he looks up, and there's like that more devout Jehovah's Witness kid that was always in school. At least in my grade, there was always a couple more. And this kid would be wearing like a sweater vest and a collar shirt and like reading the Bible and upset that I was sneaking candy and was so obviously hateful towards this religion. Because where was the movie going to go? Like, do you plan on having it stay at that young age?
No.
Is the main story him as an adult? That's still a Jehovah's Witness?
No, the only scene I ever wrote was him as a kid, but I thought that was just the opening scene.
Yeah.
Like, meet this kid when he's 8, and then the rest of the movie, maybe he's a teenager or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I could write it for a 9-year-old for a whole movie.
Right.
But I think it makes a good opening scene, and then 9 years later, title card, whatever lame thing I want to do. This movie's obviously never going to happen.
Yeah.
But if it does, I also have a name for it. Do you know it?
I did. Return Visit or something like that.
No, Local Needs.
Local Needs.
Which, very inside, Jehovah's Witnesses will get it.
You should just be like me, write a 90-page script in like a week, and then start to film it with no money, and then want to kill yourself every day afterwards because you're so embarrassed.
How many times have you done that? This is an amazing thing. When you were
One time.
A teenager, right?
No. No, I was married, man.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man, I got so super ambitious.
Let's hear about it. Was that suicide?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was
and
the
I
name
wrote
of
it out. I put like on a website and hung it out around like the college campus and stuff about casting, and like rented out a hotel room to do casting. It was all about like looking like I don't know what it was. Such a weird time.
But how long did it take you to write this script that you were all of a sudden casting for?
I don't know. It was one of these things to where like, I had the idea when I was like 11 and thought it was such a brilliant idea. That
and what's
like
the idea? It's called Suicide. Is it about suicide?
I don't want to get into the plot. I really don't. But yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna finally finish this, and I did it so fast, and I'm like, we're gonna film it, and like I got Big Red and Nico to help me with it. And then and Maddie Reibel came with the cameras. We had 2 cameras, and we shot scenes from it.
Now you said you like put up casting calls. Did you actually like hold an audition?
Yeah, we rented out a hotel room.
So there are people you turned down for this movie?
I never called any of them back. Like by the time we started doing it, I was like, you know what? I'm too nervous to even try to call them back. I have no money. This is such a joke. I'm sure when they came and I was wearing like my my slacks and my collar shirt, that they were like, "What the fuck?" Because these were people who had done acting before. Like they were in Yakima for whatever reason, but like one guy had been on Roseanne.
Really
not a big role, like not a successful guy at all.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you sending me a headshot through an email or something.
If he's worked with a guy who is directing an episode of Roseanne, then I come along and I'm like, hey guys, we're going to Mel's Diner today. Too bad they keep singing Happy Birthday in the background. Like it's just so awful and embarrassing.
So how many scenes did you actually get shot?
I don't know, like 3.
And were you actually behind the camera?
Oh yeah, man, I took it seriously.
You did?
Oh,
that is so cute. Like even at the time, like I knew that
I
it was
had Big Red and Nico. Like we shot a scene in a car, and it was supposed to be like outside in the neighborhood, but we shot it in the garage. So they're like holding big floor mats that Nico had stolen from various bars around town.
Of course.
Over the windows to make it look dark outside.
Let me ask you this. Your production company, was it called Makeshift Productions?
Inconvenient.
Makeshift may have been better.
See, that was the whole thing. I think like that was one of the big reasons I wanted to make a movie, was because I had this name for a production company, and I wanted it to be an Inconvenient Production.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like it.
Thanks. It's copyrighted somewhere.
Nice one, Brainstorm.
When we were headed towards the Family Fun Center with your daughter and your wife today, we were having a conversation about mom. You went on some tear about what an awful mom she was. Let's talk about this a little bit too. The reason that it came up. I'm sorry, go.
Yeah, well, as far as that goes, you said something about there's a point in your life where we've come so far now, to where like if we were to all of a sudden fuck up, like go out and get HIV or whatever like that, because anyone with HIV is a fuck up.
Yeah,
I think that's widely known.
Magic Johnson had a talk show though.
Like we're at a point now where we can't blame mom for that, and I agree that we can't blame mom for that. But she shouldn't take credit for where we are now and
but
how
where
well
are
we
we
might be doing now. I know, but we're not insane.
We're well adjusted compared to most of her family.
Right, and to how we should be after being raised by her. So I said I won't blame her about anything that might go wrong later on now, since I've built myself to this current prestige. But I don't want her taking credit for where I am now. And there are things that I can blame her about, like our dental condition.
Yeah.
Because she had full dental insurance for us, which I find out years later. But we've dealt with...
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Through Dad's work, then, yeah? Or
no? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I knew it before, and then when I saw Dad just a couple weeks ago, he reminded me of that. And, of course, his thing was, and your lazy mother would never get off her ass and take you guys.
Too busy making them bologna sandwiches.
Right, exactly. And where was he during the whole time?
Yeah.
And
eating those bologna sandwiches.
He'll slightly acknowledge that, like, and I should have been there more. Like, that's his thing. Like, he can be a total hypocrite about it. But those are the kind of things we can blame Mom for.
Yeah.
Is that, like, our teeth were never fixed. And
I remember us going to the dentist,
teeth.
though. Like, up through, like, 11, 12 years old, we went fairly regularly to the dentist.
Yeah.
And then that dropped off. And our little sister, oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean, our teeth are jacked. Mine probably more so than yours. Actually, this is the perfect segue for something I did have written on my notes. Is like, it's to the point where, like, from the age of 12, and this is going to prevent me from having a girlfriend saying this right now, but from the age of 12 to like the age of
Are we gonna get gross again? Because we've talked about some gross things already. Is this gonna be like gross bloody teeth stories?
Doesn't have to be, buddy. It's just what I have written down.
Yeah, I know. I know about all about your oral surgery. I'm missing 4 teeth now.
I got 9 extracted at once. 9.
And you know what, man?
How humiliating is that for a 25-year-old?
We could have had braces and gotten our cavities filled. And I'm sure even if you asked Mom, her defense would be like, "Oh, you guys were always so whiny about and would beg me not to make you go to the dentist." But that's
no.
why that's whether or not
no.
Even if that
I'm just
was
saying
true,
no.
Okay, but even if that was true, you can't have a 12-year-old make that decision. You know what I mean? That's why you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
Because you're an idiot like that and you want candy for dinner and everything like that, which you shouldn't have. And Melissa, our sister, she's got insanely fucked up teeth. Mom still, according to Dad at least, still has full coverage, dental coverage for Melissa.
Wow.
Although I don't know that that's true, because I know that when Melissa had to get braces or something, Mom was complaining about the cost.
Yeah, and then they took those braces back and bought a beater car.
But her teeth were so fucked, like, from the time she was a little kid. Like, you saw how bad Sophie was being at the restaurant today.
Yeah.
Mom couldn't deal with that from Melissa for even half a second. It was, here's my hair to chew on, just disgusting
literally
things
here's
like that.
my hair to chew on. Yeah.
And how old was Melissa when she started drinking coffee?
True.
2
Yeah.
years old. Like, Mom would
I
just
said true, but yeah, 2
yeah,
or 3.
no, yeah,
I remember, like, she'd drink it like a fiend. She'd just grab it off the counter, barely being able to reach it.
Because Mom let her do it, and then she got insanely addicted to coffee at this young age.
Yeah, which seems weird.
And Mom just didn't want to hear it. Like, if she was going to whine for a second, and
Let
Mom
me throw
put
some Coca-Cola in a sippy cup for her. Shut the fuck up.
Reese's Pieces for dinner.
Yeah.
But Mom used to put a lot of fucking sugar in her coffee too.
Yeah, it was all sugar and
Melissa
cream,
would
and that's why
just chug
Melissa, responded to it. But yeah, like now, it's funny because
it was like the bottom of a bowl of Cheerios after all the Cheerios are eaten.
Oh, gross! if I can't talk about my bloody teeth, then you can't talk about milky cereal.
Got it.
That's one of those things. The people that put cereal in a bowl and then milk on top of it.
Yeah, I can't.
It's gross.
Cereal,
it's gross.
Cereal and teeth brushing, which is, that falls in the same line as bloody teeth. Those are 2 things I cannot stand. I remember being at restaurants with you, and you eat the soup with the spoon and the clank against your teeth, and I'd tell you how much it bugged me, and you do it more and more. And
I'll tell you what bothered me about you growing up, and it has to do with cereal.
I can only dish it out, Nick.
Try this on for size, buddy. I remember really offending you once. We were probably like just barely teenagers, and we were eating breakfast at the same time. And it's one of those things where it's usually like just the gross, like chocolatey milk, soggy.
And drinking it from the bowl.
Yeah.
Did I do that?
No, you didn't do that.
No.
What you would do, and what I called you out on, was you would kind of moan while you ate.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and
I
said,
a noisy eater?
Yeah, and so one hilarious 13-year-old morning of mine, when I had to listen to this, I was like, PJ, quit having sex with your cereal, and you were so upset.
I throw my spoon down, stomp up the stairs. Yeah. You're a faggot, I can't believe it. You accuse me of having sex with my cereal? You're disgusting.
That's not even logical, Nick.
God, I really hate hearing stories about like annoying things that I did as a kid.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good line on my part.
Yeah, it was a very good joke.
Let's go back to the Family Fun Center.
Okay.
I got into town today. How old is your daughter now?
19 months.
Okay.
That's a guess.
Is it the first time you guys have gone to that Family Fun Center?
Yeah.
As a family? Was it fun? It was definitely a center.
Yeah, not very.
So 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
I've been to this Family Fun Center, and everybody's been to
like it was going to be fun when we walked in.
Yeah, and we played air hockey. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Except for you kicked my ass. But it's one of those places where, you spend $18 to earn 16 tickets, basically. Yeah. And I thought it was so hilarious. I meant to point it out to you, but you were nowhere to be found. How many tickets did you guys end up walking away with at the end?
475.
Not bad, right? Account. How much money was put into that?
Oh, man. I put 20 in that machine. I don't know.
And your daughter's not even old enough to do anything other than the carousel. So we know this is just you blowing money.
Yeah, like we tried to let her throw the ball into the little spin to win.
But then she was fucking it up. We weren't going to earn any tickets that way.
She lost the ball behind the machine.
So then you're getting up there with your 400-something tickets. But what's funny is, like, there are kids that, like, I'm pretty sure some of them had, like, cracked the code. Like, they were rigging the games.
Yeah, there was that earthquake machine. This kid had, no shit, like 9,000 tickets in front of. I pumped, like, $1. I was waiting for him to leave that machine. I was like, that's a hot slot machine in Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I seriously never got a ticket. You put the coin in, the hole, and you're going down
play it.
Like a slick bowling alley type, not linoleum, but whatever, synthetic thing that's angled down already, and it's shaking violently. And you have to try to land it inside a hole, like slightly larger than the coin, to earn tickets. And I don't know how these kids win so many tickets.
They must spend there every afternoon there.
Yeah. I resorted to pumping all my money into that thing where the lights go around and you try to stop it right when it says jackpot.
Yeah.
But I would get like 10 tickets every time.
Not bad, though. That adds up.
10 tickets per quarter.
And you had 400-something tickets?
475.
Somebody do the math and then email us, because you spent a lot of money today.
Yeah. Well, some of that money went to air hockey and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, I'd say I spent about $20 there.
Not so bad then, especially considering what you got. What prizes did you guys walk away with?
Let's see. We got a necklace bubble blower in the shape of a guitar.
And now your daughter is obsessed with bubbles.
Some star stickers. And what else? There's something else.
Pack of playing cards.
Oh, yeah.
With pirates on them.
Yeah.
Yep. But if you look, like, this is what I was going to talk about, is they have this glass casing for, like, the more extravagant prizes that you can win. Like, those people, like, it takes 5,000 tickets to get. One was basically a life-size inflatable Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Who's not going to take that home?
I bet it wasn't life-size, at least not for 5,000.
A life-size Incredible Hulk is pretty huge.
Yeah.
That's unreasonable.
No, yeah, but like the $5,000 prizes were like shittier, and it was like a Hannah Montana purse, stuff like that, which is still respectable. But if it was a life-size Hulk, that's like 25,000 tickets.
No. It was inflatable though. It was blow up.
I guarantee. We'll have to go back tomorrow and look.
Yeah, and win that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's
but
a lot more than 5,000.
There were weirder things though. Like
either that or it's not life size.
There were things geared for adults in there. Like I don't get it. Like 6,000 tickets buys you a golf glove was literally one thing.
They've got mini golf.
Yeah, who wears a golf glove when they're playing mini golf at the Family Fun Center?
You know, I could see it. Some kid plays around a mini golf and does really good, and he's like, I'm so good at this game, and he's really obsessed with it. And then he's got a hot hand at the earthquake machine and gets a bunch of tickets. I'm going to buy a golf glove. I'm sure it sells. But then again, I'm also sure that it's like just random shit. Like this bubble blower thing we have doesn't even blow bubbles. It was taped shut. I guarantee they the kids use them up, leave them on the floor. They pick them up, fill them with soap water.
Everything I'm looking
tape
at,
it shut.
I get that impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had like some rickety old DVDs back
Yeah.
there. Like I'm trying to remember even one title.
Click. I saw Click in there.
Yeah.
But like the bare bones version that you literally find for like $4 at Target.
Yeah.
And you've got to pump like $17 into the machine to get it. Why don't they have a good arcade where you can win tickets and get like a fucking Blu-ray player or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. That's the only way they're going to survive.
Casinos have good prizes like that if you get a lot of Players Club points. Like even at the local casino here, they have like like if you rack up not that many, you can get like some Mercy movie money. But they have like iPod Touches, a Wii. They have some shit you can get if you spend thousands of dollars racking up those points.
So to be a player in the Players Club,
Yeah,
like that's
you are.
Huh?
I remember you signed up for it once. We were there one day. Yeah,
oh, I don't usually get suckered into
because
those
you get like an immediate comp when you do it.
Gotcha.
And then every time you gamble, you get some points.
You know what works well for me? Not being a gambler, but a movie watcher. I'm not an AMC movie watcher, but I am a Regal Cinema Club member. Dude,
we only have Mercy here.
I know you do, but if you're ever to go to Seattle again and see a movie, Regal's a pretty big movie chain. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
You're spending more per ticket, but so every time I buy a movie ticket, they scan my card, and it just builds points over time. I get some good shit out of that. Free movie every once in a while. Otherwise, you only ever win a free movie, a free popcorn, or a free soda. The free movie is actually least exciting, even though it's most valuable, because I can't use it right then, because I've already paid for my ticket by the time they scan the card.
Oh, you just find out right then, like, oh, you win.
Yeah, it prints off with your receipt.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the free small popcorn and the free small drink is that 50 cent upgrade, and it puts you at a large. You're paying 50 cents for a popcorn.
Nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's a lot of popcorn.
And even when I've eaten like an asshole at the Cheesecake Factory right across the street right before my movie starts, I fucking need some popcorn. I don't know what it is. Are you
Regal,
that guy?
Oh, yeah. Popcorn and hot dogs.
Well,
Is Regal the
hot
cinema?
dogs if you just eaten.
Oh, man. I get a hot dog or two. I like it when my wife gets a hot dog, because then I get one, and then I'm really having one.
What about the
half.
nachos with the little prepackaged cheese?
I don't like the cheese. I would do like chips and salsa, but I feel like the crunching is too loud. It's so loud in my head, and I've never been entirely clear on if that's how loud everyone else hears it or not.
They wouldn't sell it if it was so loud that people couldn't handle it.
But they have cheese softening it up. I'm just chips and salsa.
Oh, gotcha.
I assume that the cheese softens it up.
Brotherhood! Brotherhood! PJ and Nick are out of control. They will crash the airwaves with a microphone. So sit down tight and listen close. All the ladies now take off your clothes. Brotherhood! Brotherhood!
Is Regal the one with the bar that's never open?
Yeah.
That's where I saw Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I know.
Saw some titties in that movie. A little brow.